Welcome to day 2 of Anne's Week of Webisodes. This is a spring look at brand new products.
And today we have 2 new embossing folders, and you get to see what special things Anne has done with them.
That's right, with something we really like. Come play with us.
Well, here's what we're talking about, our 2 new embossing folders. We have the lacy frame and we have the diamond metal plate.
And you kind of might think about it, this is sort of feminine and this is sort of masculine,
right.
But you know, don't be pinholed because Anne has some surprises. We're going to start with the very first card.
Let's see our first surprise.
First surprise, and look at that metal, at that diamond plate on there.
Isn't it beautiful? It just looks like metal, and that's done with the mirror sheets.
It is. Now these mirror sheets, there are, I think, 8 of them together.
Right.
They're 8 inches by 9 inches, and they come in this collection. They are adhesive, so
right. So they're easy to put on after you've cut them out or embossed them with your embossing folder. Then you can cut out pieces of them, like Anne has done here, and place them on here. This one in particular, is our pull-up card.
This is the pull-up card, and this has 5 cards, 5 envelopes. And the way that you make this is...
Do you want to see what it does?
Oh, yeah.
First?
You want to go ahead? Sure.
It does this. So
Yes.
there's the pull-up. Just beautiful.
Very nice.
We'll talk more about that in just a second.
Right. So you have the 2 pieces and this piece, and the directions are on the package. So you lay it out like this, and you just bring the wings in along those score lines. Put some ultra tape right there, and then when you pull this up, it's going to attach.
Right. And this piece, the pull-up piece, is actually going to sit down on here. This piece is scored to fold back. Just make sure that when you glue it in place, this piece is even here so that it sits right up there on that, like that. Then when it pulls open, it's pulling out like a pocket down
Just
below.
like Anne's did.
Just like that, so that when you open up that top flap, it pulls that piece out, and there's a surprise for you.
There is very nice. And on that card, both the house on the inside, Dad, as well as when you, our families.
Our family tree is blessed with these.
And these are from the Family Ties Scrapbooking Dazzles. And you can see they're not limited to scrapbooking, but you are going to receive, let me see, 463
pieces.
Yes.
Along with those little red hearts, which are included as well. So
and are used on the card.
They are. They fit in there nicely. Here's one that fits right in there. I also want to point out the word family here was colored in with the Spectrum Noir pen.
That's right.
So that's one of those red pens. Very easy to color dazzles in that way.
And there's a row of hearts down there,
right.
so very sweet.
Also, you see, and here's a kind of a little Anne touch here. These very thin strips are from the edge of those heart jewel dazzle sheets that are combined, that are included.
Right there. So she would cut a little piece because, for goodness sakes, you want to use every inch of it, don't you think?
Right. So just tiny little strips, and then just pull off the adhesive on the back, and they go on very nicely. But I just love those strips, so you can cut one whole piece and emboss it with that embossing folder, and then you can just cut it into strips and start using it on different places in your card.
Exactly.
Absolutely beautiful.
Now here is a very different look with that same embossing folder, and look at this. Very feminine looking, wouldn't you think?
It is. So this great background of those textured iridescent sheets back there, it's a little bit of a surprise. And it's done with the hopscotch papers, so there's lots of fun going on here.
I have to tell you, I am very excited about these sheets because everything has been fabulous that's been created with them. They are 8 1/4 by 11 3/4.
Now, are these adhesive back?
They are not.
Okay.
They are not.
But there's a lot in a package. All of these different colors.
There.
You have sort of pastels, some bright colors in there.
And I'm not done.
Keep going.
There are 11 sheets, and you can emboss, as Anne has done. You can do cutting dies.
Lots of different options
I think
here.
you're going to love them.
And the neat thing is is they are sort of plasticized on the top, but they are paper on the back.
Right.
So there is more that you can do with these than if it was just plastic. They can be a little stiff, but there's a little bit more that you can do. For instance, the piece that she used on here, she embossed with that diamond metal plate embossing folder, and then you're seeing white on the top because she took that same piece and with a sanding block, she just sanded the top off. Now, because it's kind of plasticized, it's not a metal, you have to work on it a little bit to get that to work. And this also might be kind of an old sanding block, but there
you go.
Also, a piece of sandpaper works too, but these sanding blocks. I'm going to do it in a circle pattern. Yeah, I'm starting to see it a little bit. Normally that goes a lot quicker. I actually tried this on a piece and it went quicker, so this is an older block.
But
anyway,
when that's done, it's going to look like that. So it just gives you more definition. Now, the dazzles here are the honeybee dazzles, and she has used those. She's backed them on just the gold metallic paper, added some vellum under the wings as well as right here, and just a really sweet little piece. And here it is on the inside with more of the Emma's Garden papers.
I love the vellum on those wings, and when you're foam taping this on, just make sure you put the foam tape behind the bee and not behind the wings.
You're coming back?
I am coming back. So I'm not done with this piece. Now I'm going to put stays on. Oh, it's very used, and sorry, it's a little bit of a mess. Stays on jet black. It's used for different surfaces. That'll really make it pop. You can
let's get in close.
There. So it's really simple to just run it. Now, the neat thing about this is that the design is so close together, this pretty much wants to just stay on the top of those embossed surfaces. I went ahead and embossed a piece of silver linen, and this is another neat look when you just use the black stays on there. I just love how it pops.
Striking.
I've used that look on a lot of different things. Very fun?
Very fun. Now, speaking of something that I had no idea you could use, look at this. Now, what Anne has done is she has used the new Wisdom Owl dazzles. However, what you're seeing there is not the dazzle, right?
It's not the dazzle. It's what's left after you used the dazzle as a mask. You're also seeing what's been done with the embossing folder above and below. It was done on the pattern paper, and then the top of it was inked with a brown, like a dark fluid chalk ink pad, dark brown. But as far as that mask is concerned, so we've got the dazzles here.
Right.
Now you showed the package, so here's the
Wisdom Owls.
There they are. They're just incredibly beautiful and intricate owls and all kinds of sayings. The one that she used is this one. So I've got a piece of dark brown cardstock, and I've got that owl. And you might want to back up just a little bit because I'm going to have to move around here a little when I do this. You peel the owl off, and oops, try not to drop it back down onto itself. There we go. You peel it off. It all came off in one piece. Before you stick this down, you know that you want to be able to remove it later because we're going to use it as a mask. So I'm going to take some of the sticky off. You can do this by putting it on like your pants.
Like your jeans.
Like your jeans. You can also stick it on your arm. That sort of takes kind of the tackiness off too. I'm going to do that a couple of times and get a couple of little innies on my arm maybe in the process. So get some of that sticky off.
It's like you have a tattoo on your arm.
Right, the kids would love that. So then you place that on the center of that cardstock. Now that's got just enough stickiness, it's still going to stick on there, and I'm going to be able to remove it easily. I have a Versamark ink pad here, and I'm going to just swipe that across the whole thing. I'm going to start right where that owl is, make sure that I get it all around the owl really nicely, and then I'm going to go above and below. I want to mention that Anne used a particular embossing powder with this that's something that we don't currently have, so there is another way to get that look very easily with embossing powders that we have, and one of them is the one that you're about to bring in there.
Right. This is a zing. This is opaque.
The Rose Opaque Zing powder, and if you combine that with the Wow Pink Fizz embossing glitter, you get a really neat look. So here it is. I combined some of it together. You get that pink.
You've been playing with embossing powders, lady.
With a little glitter in there. So once I've swiped that, then I'm going to remove that dazzle, and I want to work kind of quickly. I don't want the Versamark to dry.
Right.
And then I take that emboss. You can already see it on there, and it's going to go all around it. So obviously that mask kept the Versamark from getting in those areas where the owl was. I'm going to shake that around a little bit and make sure it's on there really well, and then just tap it off. And there it is.
And then you would heat it.
Then you would use the heat gun, go ahead and heat that up, and you have that embossed owl that you see.
And there it is with a little bit of glimmer because of the iridescent part in the embossing powder. But that is just such a different way to use the dazzle and to use the embossing folder.
Right, and when you're done, you can still use that dazzle. You can place it on a card, on a different card, and use it somewhere else. It's
Double duty, huh?
Still usable. Yeah.
There you go. Well, we told you Anne is always full of surprises. The other thing that surprises me about this card is that it's using on butterfly wings. Now, on butterfly wings is a beautiful, vintage, kind of nostalgic look. I don't think I would have paired that with wisdom owls, but isn't that gorgeous?
Of course, the pink, that's kind of a little surprising,
Yeah.
but there is pink in the paper pack, so it
Yes,
just
there
picks
is.
that up. I also love that she backed some of the dazzles down here on some of that pink paper, and I love the wisdom whispers words that
And then
were
on
included.
the inside, she has one little owl perched up there at the top with some arrows pointing to your message.
Right, and here is just a little strip of that embossing folder that was used on the
Quite
patterned
gorgeous.
paper.
Now, if this weren't unique enough, look at what the woman has done.
Unique enough?
Okay,
Oh my
here
gosh.
is something else. Now, in this case,
Oh, is that just beautiful?
isn't that interesting?
It's another masking technique.
Yeah.
Using the same thing, you're going to place down the dazzles in all the places where you see pictures. She placed dazzles all over
On white cardstock.
On white cardstock before she used the embossing folder. And then she used fluid chalk inks and cosmetic wedges. You could also use a stylus that would work great for this, and just inked over the different areas with different colors. Afterwards, she removed the dazzles, and then you have that beautiful ghosted image. It's just gorgeous.
So I like the owl kind of peeking down from the corner. I also like the fact that she has used the debossed side of the embossing
so
folder.
After you've done all that, you're going to use that embossing folder, and you're going to do that, I think, with the silkscreen side down, and then you'll get that debossed side on your cardstock.
I love the white. It's just so striking.
It is striking. They look, I mean, they look sort of like ghosts over there in the haze.
It's nighttime.
Yeah, just beautiful.
Isn't that fun? Very, very fun. Guess we need to take a look inside, don't we?
Yeah, let's do that.
And there we've got one. Ooh, what a
beautiful
peekaboo. Very fun.
So
Oh,
just a
lovely.
beautiful look.
Now, we did promise you this one, the lacy frame
Right.
embossing folder. Okay, scrapbookers, pay attention.
here we go.
Here we go. Look at that. Now, these have been done on the pattern paper on butterfly wings, and let's
Right.
get in close.
So the frames that you're seeing around those photos, they were done on the pattern paper. They were sanded off so that you can get down to the core of that paper. And then the edges were distressed and rolled up.
And I really like that. We don't often use the paper as being double-sided,
Right.
and I think that's just a very nice little hint, and it's going to stay very nicely even with your sheet protector
Right.
on.
So in this case, you just cut the photo to fit over that. You don't actually
Right.
have to cut a window in the piece.
And you can use them vertically as well as horizontally.
Right. And so I love that the corners are wrapped with ribbon in this case.
And then there's another close-up, very happy people there. And precious memory, these are the on butterfly wings dazzles, having backed them with papers.
Right, so they work very well with scrapbooking pages.
Isn't that gorgeous? Well, now for a
That's
very
beautiful.
different look,
Okay.
this is using the textured iridescent.
sheet. So this one is a little bit more of a yellow one. And so it was embossed with that lacy frame embossing folder. The center was cut out for a window here. And the top of that was inked with StazOn. We showed that a little bit
Right.
in the beginning.
And this is the same honeybees dazzles as we saw before.
Right.
That window was cut out, and we used the heat-resistant acetate because that's what we have.
Right.
You could use other acetate if you wanted to.
Right.
And these were backed with the transparent sheets.
Right, the colored transparent sheets, so you get those different colors, so that's really great. Anne said that she used little pieces of zots or zips, and she cut pieces to place on the back of the black areas of the dazzles so that you couldn't see the adhesive when they were placed onto this acetate. So there you can only see it on the black areas. It doesn't show up. And isn't that just beautiful?
Yeah.
I like the little green on here too, backed on those as well.
I think the high honey inside is just very cute.
It's great. So you can see it through the front, and then when you open it up, you can just see it on
Right.
its own.
So very pretty, very, very nice. Now we have another very surprising one with the same lacy frame, and look at this, with combined with Woodland Beauties dazzles and this
perfect pearls.
and perfect pearls.
So this must be the metallic
Yeah,
set.
looks
Yeah.
like this when you get the set. It has 2 paintbrushes, 4 of the perfect pearls, and then the perfect medium, which is like Versamark.
Right.
It's the adhesive ink pad.
So there are 4 colors in this set. She only used these 3. So this silvery white one we set off to the side, but she's got a gold, a copper, and a bronze. And she used them all. You can see them
Yes,
there.
you can see it there.
She just used them sort of ombre fashion, one stripe and then another and another. And she started by embossing the cardstock. So it's a brown cardstock. She embossed the entire piece with the lacy frame embossing folder. Then using the perfect medium, you can swipe it across this, and you can just, I think she did the whole thing. She
think
sort of
she
pressed
did,
it in.
yeah.
So really press it in and get all the way to the back, and take your time and go all the way across there. And you want to get it, I'm going to
You're just going to do a little bit.
Okay, just so I can get some of the 3 different colors, I'll go down a little bit on that side. And that is going to make it so that it takes on the perfect pearls when you add them on there. And so I'm going to open up a couple of them, like so. And you take your brush, you just pick up some of that perfect pearls, and you just swipe it on.
Just that hard.
Yeah. And there's the beautiful gold. If you want some of the, I think she used gold first, and then some of the bronze. When you're done putting them on, you can tap it off and get some of the excess off, but it goes into this beautiful bronze, and then they mix together
At the
in that
edge,
area.
right.
And then you go into copper down at the bottom. I'm adding it a little early, but you see the point to have these separate areas, and they will blend together. I can also do it, there we go. It's a little better if I use a
Swirl
circular
it.
motion. You can really see how they blend together.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yes, beautiful.
Now, just think of all the different things you can put on top. Well, Anne decided to do, as I said, the Woodland Beauties, and she's used the silver metallic paper to kind of go along with all the
Right.
precious metals that are on
Gold,
here.
the gold metallic.
Yeah. And on the inside, she's just got little critters on the corners to kind of lead your eye to what your message is going to be. But isn't that just charming?
And really simple. That's just a really simple effect.
Now, there is one more project we have for you, and Anne used the Heart Triple Easel. Now, this is the die-cut cards. There are 3 cards and 3 envelopes. Why
Right.
3? Well, because it takes 7 pieces to make each card.
Okay.
And let me show you what Anne has done. Now, remember, will you bring in the lacy frame embossing
Okay.
folder? And let me show you what she's done. So just think of this rectangle. Well, right here, she has used that to go right into the point of her, or into the recessed area of her heart.
Right.
And she's also used some dazzles. This is the Emma's Flower Garden dazzles. So Hello Friend.
Right, and they're backed on several different papers from the Emma's paper pack, Emma's Garden paper pack. Oh, that's just beautiful.
Here's another corner, a little bit larger one on the middle area.
Right.
And then here is another corner of this. And
Right.
this is how it's going to appear as it's sitting on your table.
So you can emboss just one piece, and then you can cut
Right.
those corners and use them on different areas of those little hearts.
And I love how it tells a story as you are opening it. So, you know, hello friend. I mean, this is gorgeous as it arrives,
Right.
but then to do each of the layers and to bring them up and to let them rest thinking of you. I mean, how dear, how
That is
absolutely
just
dear.
beautiful. I love that it's just that tiny little dazzle that's been backed and then foam taped to hold that last easel up there.
And then that bow that's on the top, it's going to be right there in the back of it.
Right.
So it still looks good front or back or
Right.
side.
So she placed papers on the front of these and on the back of those easels. So just beautiful.
So as you can see, she has really done the gamut of the 2 embossing folders with our lacy frame and our diamond metal plate.
Right, and you can get masculine looks, and as we've seen, also feminine looks with these great embossing
You've got
folders.
honeybees and owls and woodland creatures and flowers all over the place. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow for day 3.